From the Ban Family Studios in the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science at Penn State, this is Weather World.
Welcome to Weather World. Today is Friday, September 12th, 2025. I'm Rob Leidick alongside Christian Spallone with tonight's forecast. Christian, out there today, a little bit of a taste of summer in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, quite warm today, Rob, and remaining dry across the state. I don't see any major precipitation, or really any precipitation, as we go through the weekend.
Yeah, so keep the watering cans handy for any flowers outside. Thank you for that. We'll get the details from Christian in just a moment. Also coming up on tonight's show, it's our Friday forecast frenzy. So Marissa Ferger will have the extended forecast going through next week. And then I'll take us into the final full week of September in week 2 trends. But first, here's Christian.
Thanks very much, Rob. And yeah, speaking of the dry weather, it was another dry and warm day, like a taste of summer, like we mentioned, off the open there. Looking at our Commonwealth cameras, we can see, again, the wall-to-wall sunshine really across the state. Some more cloud cover across eastern Pennsylvania today, but nothing too threatening or anything that would produce precipitation. Very dry and sunny across western Pennsylvania with a little bit less cloud cover across those parts. Maybe asking how dry has it really been, at least relative to what's average for this time of year? Well, we can look at a deviation from the typical average from the beginning of September up to about 10 days into September, so essentially today. And as you look over Pennsylvania, we can see we're only at about 10 to 30% of what is normal through that period. And it's very dry across the rest of the United States as well, with a lot of these brown and red colors. So it's been a persistent dry stretch as we've sat under a very large area of high pressure. The only areas where you really see a lot of those blues indicating above average precipitation is a few locations in the Central Plains where we've had some enhanced thunderstorm activity, and then out west across Northern California where there's been a series of low pressure systems coming on shore. But otherwise, quite dry across much of the lower 48 over the beginning of September. Today across the Commonwealth, continuing to be dry, as we've mentioned, seeing fair weather cumulus clouds pop up. Again, a few more of those clouds across eastern Pennsylvania, as we saw in the 4-camera imagery earlier, with a bit more sunshine across western Pennsylvania. Temperatures generally topping out in the lower 80s in the warmest spots today, including across the southern tier, and the warmest spots are probably out across the Pittsburgh metro region, around 82 in Pittsburgh today. Dew points continuing the dry feel, showing us generally around 50 for the highest dew points across the state, so remaining comfortable out there, but no precipitation to speak of, and I don't think that'll change as we go over the next couple days across much of the region. As we zoom out across the rest of the United States, we can see underneath an area of high pressure, it's quite warm and remaining dry across much of the eastern 2/3 of the country, topping out in the 90s across portions of the Central Plains, slightly above average for this time of year. As we switch over to our radar image, you can see again the lack of precipitation under that ridge of high pressure, and as you go generally to the west of it, that's where you see some of the precipitation across the Intermountain West. We can see the cause for what's driving this pattern again under that large ridge of high pressure across the Central Plains, where you see the precipitation that'll be generally just to the west of that. And on the eastern flank of this across Pennsylvania, we'll see a lot of surface high pressure that sets up, and that'll continue to be the case across our region in the mid-Atlantic as we head over the next several days and head into the weekend. So on our evening surface map, we can see that large surface area of high pressure set up across the northeastern United States. I think as we go into tomorrow, we'll see a few more clouds approach with a weak disturbance, but this is beginning to die out, and it won't be carrying pretty much any precipitation as it comes through our area through the day tomorrow. That high pressure will continue to stick around as we go into Sunday, keeping the sunny skies going and leading to a nice conclusion to the weekend as we get towards the end of the day on Sunday. So your forecast for tonight, across the state of Pennsylvania, generally a seasonable September evening, some valley fog possible, something to note if you're traveling late tonight or even early tomorrow morning. In the coldest spots, generally seeing low temperatures in the upper 40s, across the rest of the state in the middle to upper 50s, which is about seasonable, just a few clouds that begin to increase as we go into the day on Saturday. We'll see that weak disturbance that begins to approach from the northwest, but again, it'll be dying, which means that it'll be mainly dry across the state throughout the course of the day. The only place I think you may see an isolated sprinkles across far northeastern Pennsylvania, otherwise partly cloudy with high temperatures still generally 5 to 10 degrees above average in the lower to middle 80s on Saturday. On Sunday, I think we may tick it up a few more degrees, about 10 degrees above average through most of the state. High temperatures again in the lower to middle 80s, mainly sunny and tranquil with the high pressure remaining in control across much of the Commonwealth as we head into the middle of September. The extended forecast is up next.